I saw a couple of tweets about this a few days ago, and people wanted my 2 cents on it. And it has to do with the fact that this show was supposed to be called Sisters, but it seems like there's just way too much focus on the male characters, and some of them are getting more interesting storylines than the sisters. But I I don't know about that. It's like, yeah, this is Sisters, not bruh. I don't know. I mean, my thing is this. We are in season 7 of the show. And a lot of fans, including myself, have, talked about how repetitive and stale and just boring a lot of the storylines are. And that's what the show mainly focusing on the women. And no, I'm not sitting up here saying, yeah, because women are boring and there are no movies or television shows that are female driven that are good. I am not saying that. We got shows like Girlfriends and, Living Single, which have male characters, but it's a predominantly female cast. But those are shows with great writers who are able to come up with strong character motivations, great stories, character interactions, this, that, and the third. But with a show that's well over 100 episodes, you got to mix it up at some point. And I think for me, I'd much rather have male characters added into the cast who bring something of substance. Now, yeah, a lot of people, the chemistry is, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the characters in general, where these characters have some depth to them. I mean, the conflict of Rich not wanting to have kids, but Sabrina, wants to have kids. Danny's world being turned upside down from dealing with the fact that Tony comes with 2 children and an ex-wife who she just awkwardly met at the end of this current episode. And then I will say this. Say what you want about the whole thing, and I've said my piece on it as well. Rich and Sabrina should have been broken up because, hey, if you want kids and I don't, it's not going to work. Danny, I'm not saying crawl back to Preston. Dude's gone. She screwed up. She lost out. But if being, a pseudo stepmom is too much, especially all at once, I get it. You don't need to be with Tony. But at the end of the day, Tony did help her out in terms of helping her expand her horizons by going to therapy and healing, and that will help her out in her next relationship if these two don't work out. But when it comes to Andy and Jordan, I still say that they had some flimsy foundation to go off of. Same with Tony and Danny, with the whole thing with her already being in a relationship but still seeing this dude behind his back, which was really weird. But the whole thing with Penelope and Gary, and then Gary and Andy having a thing, and then Jordan finding out, which I still think there's a lot he still doesn't know about Andy or Gary, and the fact that Gary had the wife Jasmine, it's just really weird. That time skip kind of did more harm than good in some areas. But yeah, I don't think that there's too much of a male focus. I think that there's just enough so we can just get a better feel for these characters. Like, I like it when we see the guys just hanging out. I think it was season 7A where we had that kind of split conversation where we had the guys hanging at Jordan's playing cards, and we had the girls over at Sabrina's place, having a good time and just kind of talking about the different dynamics of their relationships. I thought that was pretty cool. But that's just me. I know some people would rather it just focus on the sisters with Assad, Zach, and Fatima. But I think that the show is well balanced. That's just my thoughts. I know not everybody's going to agree on that, but I'd rather have conversations with people who disagree and say more than simply, oh, the show sucks now. These writers don't know what they're doing. They need to cancel it. No, go into detail about why. And, maybe I'll be like, okay, I don't fully agree, but I see where you're coming from. But yeah, I'd rather have more characters who have depth to them than characters who are just faceless dates like, hey, I'm dating guy number 28, in this episode. Nah, doesn't do it for me. So when you look at Bruh, on the other hand, yeah, it's about the men, but, Pam, Regina, Miss Alice, the females on that show, they get a pretty good amount of screen time and whatnot as well. What's her name? Lydia, who was trying to get with John, and Tom, he has his time with different females too. And Greg and Darla. I'm surprised I remember these character names. But yeah, I don't think there's too much bruh stuff in Sisters in regards to the male characters. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think the show should go back to focusing more on the women? Or do you think that they have a healthy balance going on right now between the male and female characters? Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.